change is difficult, and we're beings that like being comfortable in this comfort zone, and getting out of that comfort zone is hard, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of trust and conviction, and it's one of the hardest things I've had to do. But when you get to the other side of that, understand that you've never really arrived. You always have to continue to work, and we're flawed, and there's an evolution, and keeping that humility and being grateful for that is important. But look, in order to do better things, you do have to change.
We have a problem as a generation, I think, right now of denying gratification. We want it right now. I don't want to work for 10 years ago. I want 2 years. I want to be on Instagram like that person, have 2 million followers, and have like money coming in. People are fascinated, and they're like really into it, and they're like, they always ask me, well, how do you do that? I'm like, well, I work all the time. And they said, when you work, I'm like 5 in the morning. I'm like, 5 in the morning? I would never do that. And I'm like, exactly. That's why you're never going to do it.
On a long enough timeline, no one is willing to do what I'm willing to do. They will fall off. And life has just taught me that is the fucking gospel truth.
We talked about that. The try harder one more time. They keep going one more time. And they keep going one more time. And they just keep dropping off until you're the last man standing, or woman, whatever it is.
1,000%. And that's why when you said that, I was like, that's intoxicating to me. That is the very thing that my success is predicated on, is I'm relentless. Like, let the full weight of that word wash over you. I am relentless. I will not stop. I'm like the fucking Terminator.
Don't go into the selling business. I'm gonna repeat that a second time. Do not go into the selling business. Go into the reorder business, where your product is so good that when someone buys it, they're going to want to either use it again or recommend it to somebody else if it's a one-time service. That's the key to longevity in any business, and developing a product. You can have whistles and bells, but if it breaks the next day or doesn't work sensationally, you don't have longevity.
My dad, when he said, okay, you're going to go to Houston, you're going to get a football scholarship. Okay. Well, you're going to do this, and you're going to go to the pros. Okay. You're gonna be an All-Pro, and you're gonna go to Pro Bowl. Okay, you're gonna win the Super Bowl. He told us that the week we get ready to play. The Patriots are undefeated. You already won the game, son. It's already done. You're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like he never said if. And I remember going, wow, my dad never said if. He truly always said when, which I don't know if he knew what he was doing. I don't think he knew consciously what he was doing, but he programmed by always telling me when. In my head, if there's something I want, it's when it happens. It's not if it's gonna happen.
Life is short, but at the same time, I think it's a very American thing too, to get stuck in this idea of like, well, if I grow up wanting to do this and I go to college for that, I have to do that forever. You know what I mean? And it's the same with like athletes, veterans, all this stuff. Like, it's not true. Like, you can do 17 different things and be really good at all of them. You know what I mean? And like, you have to obviously commit and like put the work in, but it's never too late.
I look for things that happen in magical ways, and I look for this. It'd be interesting to see if you felt this in racing, because a lot of surfers feel it. I don't know anything about race car driving. But you know how like when you surf and you're looking for that perfect wave and you can get in the zone? Anytime you're doing any sort of sport like that, you really get into flow. And what I look for when having ideas is this in flow? Is it easy and magical things happen like you are in this system of flow? And I just roll with it. Like, okay, let's see what happens. And that's what I look for when it's hard and difficult. I kind of go, I don't know about this, right? That's a sign to me. Doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you don't have the universal flow backing you up, right?
You have two choices in life, really, as you are as an adult. You can choose optimism. This bottle of water here is not full, but I'm going to fill it up. Or you can choose pessimism. There's not enough water. It's empty. And optimism, I choose optimism every time because I choose to want to be optimistic and I choose to want to have good things happen. So when they happen, I'm happy. I'm in that stage already. If you choose pessimism, you're always thinking something bad's going to happen. And then when something bad happens, you've already chosen it twice, so now you have it a second time, right? So pessimism, you get 2 whacks.
Yeah.
Optimism is just optimistic.
Yeah.
If it happens, you're like, okay.
Yeah.
Pessimism, you're worrying about it not happening, and then it doesn't happen, and you're screwed, right?
I agree.
It's a terrible way to go through life.
I agree.
Now, it doesn't really matter. Life is going to be what it is, but if you choose optimism, I guarantee you will make better choices. You will understand what happens to you better, even if it's bad. And you look at things, sit back and say, okay, I can handle this. This is fine.
At my second bankruptcy, 38, I'd invested all my money in this amazing idea that was a .com. It wasn't my passion, but it was a good idea. Again, no, it wasn't alive for me, but it was a recruiting platform that matched a person's culture with a company culture. It was 20 years ahead of its time, but it was genius back then, But anyway, the stock market crashed, lost everything. Went into a spiritual sabbatical, and really I was done. It was really one of those moments where I got down on my knees to God, and I tried to kill myself when I was 21, but after I had children and family, I knew that wasn't an option. But I was like I'm done. God, you need to really take me, because I can't do this anymore. I was exhausted from all the pushing and striving and going through. And then I started this path of, I read Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and then I was in Byron Katie's workshop, Loving What Is, and I found peace and happiness within my being for the first time in my life. There was no desire for money, success, anything. I literally was just at peace. I didn't need money. I didn't need wealth. Before, I thought I needed wealth in order to be somebody, right? I thought if I can ever just get rich, then I will feel worthy within my being. So then Pourri came along, and what I realized is if I can lose everything, that I'm not going to do it the same way I did it before. I'm going to have fun. Because when I lost everything when I was 38, I looked back and I said, what's worse than losing everything is losing everything and realizing you didn't even have a damn good time doing it. Right? I was exhausted. I was burnt out. It was horrible. So I didn't have anything. So then when I said, if I'm going to go back in business, I'm just going to have fun. That's it. I'm just going to have fun. I'm going to go with the flow. If it feels good, I'm going to do it. If it doesn't, I'm not, because the shit can just get wiped out at any second. So that was when I began that philosophy. I'm like, if it feels good, do it. And if it doesn't, I'm not.